Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take whatever artists we're doing and we listen to all their records and we rank them from worst to best. But before we do that, we get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. If you don't know what that is the same idea as the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with the artist that we're doing for the week. So if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, way out there in the ether is Jeff. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Thank you to everybody who's listening, all the new listeners, our guy from Missouri, or gal from Missouri, I don't know. Our boy Raul here in Orange County. You know, thanks for listening. It's awesome. Really appreciate it. Now, Jeff, let's just not waste any more time. Let's get into the 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. I got 2. I don't know how many you got. Go.
Yeah, so I have 2
right,
as
Jeff.
well.
Yeah, you got 2. Okay, cool. What do you got?
First one. Actually, we kind of did this one last week, or I kind of did this one last week with Jeff DeRosa. How he's married to Michelle Nolan. She's the sister of John Nolan of Taking Back Sunday fame. Remember, like we talked about in Circa?
I do remember. Yeah.
They went off on that path.
I remember that.
That was my first one. That was kind of a cheating one. I have a better one. My second one. I just reused last week's.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
It's kind of fun.
So this time around, I started to go. I started with one person, and that's Lars Frederiksen, the guy who produced the album "Do or Die." Lars Frederiksen.
That's fun.
Is also what?
That's fun.
Is it fun?
No, he's not even in the band.
Yeah, but he produced "Do or Die."
He's not even in the band though.
Okay, but he produced. Okay, so we'll start with Dropkick Murphys. We'll start with fucking Ken Casey. Let's say that Ken Casey from Dropkick.
All right.
Just wait. We'll start with Ken Casey, and then we'll go to Lars Frederiksen because he produced the Do or Die record. Lars Frederiksen is the guitar player and vocalist for Rancid, one of the vocalists. Rancid also features the drummer Brand Steckenhart. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's been in Rancid for like almost 15 years now. And if you didn't know, he was also the original drummer for The Used. Played on their first 2 records. John Feldman has produced most of the Used records. John Feldman to Mark Hoppus to Tom DeLonge. So there you go. That's my first one. So what do you got for number 2?
All right, my last one and my better one, but Mike McColgan. Why would we not use Mike McColgan? It's silly, but his band, not his other band, but his band is / was called the Street Dogs, and the drummer was Joe Sirois, Sirois, Siroi. I don't know, but Joe was a drummer for the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones for a long while, if not all their tenure. Including their latest album that featured guest vocalist Christian Jacobs. Okay. Christian Jacobs, as you know or may not know, played in a little band with Travis Barker called the Aquabats.
Never heard of them.
The Aquabats had Travis Barker as the drummer, Baron Von Tito, and Travis played with Tom a couple times. But I also could have went like Tim Armstrong was also a guest vocalist on the that same Boss Tones album. There's a lot of guest musicians on the latest Boss Tones album. I can't even fucking talk. On the latest Boss Tones like books, Boss Tomes. The Mighty Mighty
Didn't
Boss Tomes.
Didn't we just talk about tomes?
Yeah.
Remember on the AFI record,
for the AFI.
A weather tome?
Because it's such
a bunch of cucks.
I know, it's such a stupid thing to say. Just say fucking book, asshole. But yeah, Tim Armstrong was also a guest. I could have went from Lars to Tim on the thing and then could have done that, but I don't want to do that. So,
of course not. No fun.
There you
Zero
go, baby
fun.
boy.
Okay, so this next one I have here, we start with Rick Barton, guy who plays guitar for Dropkick, played on the Do or Die record, which Lars Fredriksson produced. If you didn't already know that, because we haven't talked about that yet. So Lars also in Rancid, along with Tim Armstrong. So Tim Armstrong was on an episode of the X-Files on their last season, season 12. He was one of the main characters on that episode. Also on X-Files, Seth Green was on an episode from the first or second season. Seth Green was on an episode. Seth Green was also in the movie Idle Hands. Tom DeLonge was also in that movie as the drive-through guy.
There you go.
So there you go. Thought that one would be a little bit more fun. Bringing the X-Files, Idle Hands. You know.
Could brought the Vandals into the X-Files. Jack Black was in the X-Files. I mean, the X-Files is essentially the... anyone who's anyone was in the X-Files. If you were not in the X-Files, then you were nobody. We were in the X-Files, actually.
Exactly.
So if you if you weren't in the X-Files, then you're a nobody.
Yep, you're absolutely right. So
It's fact.
those are my 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. Let's just jump right into the rankings, the Dropkick Murphys rankings. They have 10 full-length records, and we're going to go from their worst to their best, and then we're going to also name our biggest banger from each of them. So, Jeff, what do you got for your number 10 for the Dropkick Murphys discography? Go.
So number 10, this got pretty rough at a time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was just, they started to bleed together hard, and I had to take a break and come back to it because it was hard. It wasn't bad.
Rough.
It was just like the same song fucking for 4 hours. But their 8th album, 2013, Signed and Sealed in Blood. This was goofy. This is almost nothing but anthemic chants and drinking songs. But I don't feel like drinking pints of Bass after listening to this. It's just goofy, and it's just a slow pop album. And this one was hard to get through. I almost had to do this one twice. I stopped it halfway through and then picked it back up later. But it was tough. It wasn't bad. It was just dumb.
It's just unnecessary.
Just dumb, yeah. It was unnecessary. But I don't have a favorite from this because I don't like this album really. So yeah. Signed and Sealed in Blood.
Oh gosh. So I would say my bottom 3, I don't care if my bottom 4, I don't care if I ever go back to ever again. Just there's no reason to.
Okay.
So my number 10 is 11 Short Stories of Pain and Glory.
What?
Their ninth record. So we did this record once on the pod several years ago, and I remembered liking it a lot more, but it might have been because it wasn't in the context of their discography. And yeah, this time around, man, I did not care for this. The album overall is pretty slow to mid-tempo. There's just nothing really exciting on it. And the song I Had a Hat is my favorite because it is the most upbeat song on the record. Outside of that, I don't remember anything from it. I think it's just, for Dropkick, it's just the most plain old people for me.
That is insanity.
I
Linsanity.
I was surprised too because I do remember liking this record a lot. When
You
we did it on
did.
the pod.
We both liked it and were very surprised at how good it was.
Yeah, but this time around, man, it was underwhelming to say the least.
Okay.
So that's my number 10. What do you got for number 9?
Blackout. I've never really liked this album that much. There's just nothing. Okay, if we take out the 2 obvious songs, the Kiss Me I'm Shit Face and the Dirty Glass, take those 2 out, there's nothing really stand out on this album. This album is very safe. It's good punk rock, but there's no identity to it. It's just run-of-the-mill punk rock. It's fine. But dude, those songs are great. Like the Dirty Glass and Kiss Me I'm Shit Face. Kiss Me I'm Shit Face is a little less awesome than the Dirty Glass, but still good stuff. And I think I think Dirty Glass is so fucking good. It's that call and answer and the back and forth, and I think it's so good, and it's so like ballroom, right? It's so Dropkick, and it's a call back to their early drinking days, but then still kind of a transition into them getting older as musicians, as people, I think it's a fantastic song, but I never liked this album that much. I think it's boring.
So you have the Dirty Glass is your BB on that.
Also, I also really like Kiss Me I'm Shit Faced because it's essentially two completely different songs blended together by a common story. Mm-hmm. I like it.
It is good. Good. It's a good record too.
Yeah.
I don't know why you hate it so much, but
it's not that good.
Would you ever get it on vinyl? No. I
would get it only if it was. Man, I don't think I paid $10 for this. It would have to be like $6 or like $5.
All right.
I just
fair.
don't. There's no Dropkick here. There's no Dropkick here. It's a fucking punk rock record.
They're a punk rock band.
But they're a punk rock band that have an identity to them, and none of that is here. Nothing that makes a Dropkick Murphys unique is in this album. In this album. It's not here whatsoever.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so
it's probably your fucking number one because you're a little butt licker.
Well. No, it's not. So my number 9 is Turn Up That Dial, their 10th record. Yeah, their last record. It came out this year. It's not a bad record, but it's just, I don't know. It's just lackluster, man. I just don't understand why they keep making music. I don't feel like they've done really anything significant in many years or anything like super interesting.
Since Blackout.
I don't really like. There are moments like on my notes where I say, "Oh, I didn't like all the Irish stuff. It was too much." And then when they do less Irish stuff, sometimes it sounds really bad. So like I kind of go back and forth. And this one just doesn't. It's not a good combination of the punk and the Irish stuff. I can't get in. I just cannot get into it. The only song that stands out to me is Mick Jones' "Nicked My Pudding," because the title is so stupid, and it was the first song I heard from this record with like 6 months ago. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing here for me. Much like 11 Short Stories. Yeah, I got nothing more on this.
Okay,
that's my
all
number 9.
Yeah, we'll move on.
There's just so much underwhelming stuff from Dropkick. Like you can get like 3 records from them and you're good. That's all you need.
3?
They're just one of those bands, man.
Nah.
Yeah. They're top 3. So what do you got for number 8?
The Meanest of Times. This is their 6th album.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because now that I'm like ranking these, I don't even know what the fuck this one is. So actually damn, dude, like half of their stuff, like my bottom 5 and I essentially have a bottom 5 and a top 5. My bottom 5 is stuff that I will never go back to. I don't care about, and I'm still here. It's not bad though. Like it wasn't miserable, but because there was a lot of albums and I did do back to back to back, that's what made it more miserable. But on its own, I don't think I would skip any track from any of these albums if somebody put them on. They're not bad. It's just when you listen to them back to back, oh my god. But the Meanest of Times, this is their 6th album. This is when they're like full on in the next phase of the Dropkicks. This album has everything of them. Like there's fast punk songs, there's some extremely like Celtic folky songs, and there's slower ballads that they'll eventually do well and will continue to do. But this is a transitional album. And they're done being the Mike McColgan Dropkick, and they are going to now be the 11 Short Stories Dropkick. And the Meanest of Times, there's some really cool like punk songs on here. But my favorite song is "The State of Massachusetts." That's like the most popular song from this one. It's got that. It's a ripoff of their own song "I'm Shipping Up to Boston." That intro is very. It's very much in the same vein. It comes in hard right away. It's very shanty like as Tyler would say. Yeah. But it's good. It's fun. It's a good song.
It's aight.
Would I playlist it? Nah.
No.
Besides Blackout, my bottom 5 albums besides Blackout, I would not playlist any of these songs.
Yeah, I could see that. most of these songs on any of these records I wouldn't playlist. Maybe like 10 songs I would playlist out of all of their discography. Maybe 15. Yeah.
Dang, this is not gonna end well, is it? This is not gonna be.
Oh no, it'll end just fine. Don't worry,
dude. I swear to fucking
you'll learn.
God, Allah, Vishnu, whoever the fuck you pray to. If you have Blackout in your top 3, we're done. This is it. We're done. It is so fucking lame. It is so uninventive. It is so.
Why are you saying that? Like you're just
because I know you like it because it's so boring. It's so vanilla.
Okay, we'll see. So my number 8 is signed and sealed in blood, their 8th record. This one it's just an extension or like the B-sides of the record, the 7th record. What's their 7th record? Going Out in Style. Yeah, it's an extension of that. There's just not much there, and some of the songs are even more like ballad like. And overall, it's underwhelming. It's not a terrible record, but like we've talked about, listening to these albums back to back to back, it was a little rough at times. And this is one of those rough records for me because there was just no reason for this record. It sounds way too much like Going Out in Style, and I don't get it. The one song that was pretty cool though was Burn, just because it's the most punk song on the album, and I like how it just starts with the snare. It's that dot 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 dot, and then it just kind of breaks into it. And as you could tell, it's mostly the punk songs that I'm digging.
Yeah, you're one trick pony. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Well, I mean, they do it well. That's the thing. They do that punk or the hardcore punk thing really well.
You like
great.
You like monotony. You like samesies. You like things that you don't like change.
Oh, this is coming from the guy who likes that fucking Massachusetts song, which is a fucking rip off of Shipping Up to Boston.
Yeah, and I acknowledge that, but I still wouldn't playlist
that
it.
Doesn't make it any better. The fuck out of
It's definitely not better. That's why it's not ranked higher.
This fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you got for number 7?
Turn Up That Dial. Their newest, number 10, their newest album. This is this is another non-punk output by the band. It's still solid. I think it's great. Like they've already solidified their status in the punk community. They have nothing to prove, and they've done it with their first album. With that first album, Do or Die, they have now cemented their legacy and will be respected forever in the punk community. Like the Bouncing Souls. No matter what the Bouncing Souls do, they will be accepted in the punk community in the same way the Dropkicks are. But now they're just writing like punk rock styled songs in the style of Dropkick Murphys. You know what I mean? They're not the Dropkick Murphys writing the songs. They're like another band writing songs in the style of Dropkick, which is the best way I could like explain this album. But it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, like it's fine. It's fine at best.
Celtic punk essentially is now synonymous with Dropkick Murphys. Like that is like when you talk about the Celtic punk, like what is Celtic punk? It's the Dropkick Murphys. There are other bands that did it before, after, but they did it best, hands down.
True.
Easy.
Yeah, they're the number one band when you think of that very obscure genre.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're fun live, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Smash shit up.
Oh, okay. That was your BB.
Yeah, that was the first single. It's good. It's a good song. I really enjoyed it, and it's I don't know. It's easy to get into. It doesn't require a lot of thinking. Doesn't require a lot of dedication. But again, still not gonna playlist it.
Wow, it's amazing how underwhelming these records have been. And these rankings have been.
Well, it's just because like. This sound is so it's such a niche like genre as it is, and because they are this sound. The Celtic punk, the Pogues are not Celtic punk. They were alternative poppy at best, but the Dropkicks really fully embodied the punk sound as well as like the Celtic folk, and they did both of them over the course of their career. They ended up doing both of those sounds extremely well and perfected the sounds. What's underwhelming is that they set the bar so high so fast, and that's kind of like their problem. And like, I'm shipping to Boston, it's like the fucking 4th album.
I know, right?
Like,
That's
what are you
the
gonna?
biggest hit.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Your 4th album, you're 6 albums later, you're never gonna top that, just because of how ingrained it is, not just in like Boston lore, but like The Departed, the movie. I don't know. I don't know. It's just the Dropkicks had big shoes to fill, and they filled them right away. But then they kept trying to walk in those big shoes, and they stumbled over themselves. And I don't know. It's fine though. None of this is bad. It's not bad music.
True. Yeah. Nothing's bad here. Nothing is bad here.
I don't shit on too much.
It's just a matter of trying to find like it's trying to find how to differentiate these records.
Yeah.
Because they're all so alike, but they're all good. But there's no, like, this is the only way we can kind of talk about these records and make up differences. Because I don't know, it's different. This was a difficult ranking because it's so much of the same shit.
It was.
But my number 7 is Going Out in Style, their 7th record. This was besides the one we did on the pod, their 9th record. This is the last record I had heard in its entirety because of the song "The Hardest Mile," which I think is like a top 5 Dropkick song. I don't know what it is about that one, but the moment I heard it when this record came out, I was hooked. And this song has been on so many of my playlists over the years. I've just thought this song is so good. It's the perfect blend of that punk and the Celtic stuff, or Irish, whatever you want to call it. It's just this perfect combination of it all. And that's kind of what this record is too. Like, it was almost like a caricature of their what they do best. And it almost seemed like they didn't take themselves seriously on this record. So it came out more authentic. It's just a fun record all around. Going Out in Style is just all around, it's fun. So that's my number 7. And like I said, my favorite song is The Hardest Mile, which I think is one of their best songs. 7 records in, one of their best songs.
All right.
So
interesting.
that's what I got there. Yeah. So what do you got for number 6?
Going Out in Style. You just talked about it. This is the first album with Jeff DeRosa. He plays a ton of different instruments. This album is kind of interesting too, because I didn't know this, but it includes a lot of guest vocalists from the Boston area and Fat Mike's from Newton, Massachusetts, which is like just right outside of Boston. I didn't know that until this week.
I didn't know that either.
I thought he was like from California in some.
I thought he was
area.
from San Francisco.
Yeah,
no, he grew up in L.A. though, or Beverly Hills, because I remember in the NoFX book he talks about going to school in Beverly Hills.
He was born in Newton, Massachusetts.
Oh, that fucking guy.
I know. But whatever. I think Springsteen's on this album too. It's a cool album. It was supposed to be a concept album, I guess. I didn't get that at all from this, and I would never have known had it not been for me reading a little bit about it. But I did enjoy it, and I think they did a good enough job of getting heavy into the Celtic sound without drowning in it. Because like my favorite song is the title track, Going Out in Style. It's a fucking banger punk song. It is solid, and it was fun, and it gradually sped up, and then it was just like classic Dropkick without any of the fluff. And the fluff is what irritates me sometimes. The fluff is what gets
definitely.
me.
It's the overindulgence too of the Irish stuff, the shanty stuff.
Yeah, it's the 4 or 5 minute song
much.
length, which gets so annoying.
Oh God. Okay. So that was your number 6, right?
Yep, number 6.
All right. So my number 6 is The Warriors Code. Their 5th record. This was the part of their discography where I'm like, okay, they've kind of stepped away from the Irish stuff, Celtic stuff, and just going more of like a punk route, which was really nice. Like it was nice after it was a breath of fresh air after hearing so much of the chants and the drinking songs and the pirate shanties. So it was nice to hear like a more straightforward record. And so that's why this is as high as it is. There are some bad moments because there are some like rock ballad moments vocally, which I think are just fucking terrible. But then there's one song on here, Citizen CIA, which I think is the most aggressive song they've ever put out. Most aggressive punk song they ever put out. But my favorite song is Captain Kelly's Kitchen. I just got to say, that is the best song. I mean, you can't help but just not love that song. Dude, it's so dumb. It is so bottom of the barrel dumb, but I can never change that song. It is so much fun to sing.
That bass line during that part too is just so heavy. The boom, 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 boom.
It's
boom,
so
boom.
good, and I hate to like it. I hate liking it, but it's you just can't help it. It's too good. It's too damn good, no matter how cheesy it is. So yeah, that's my number 6 is the Warriors Code. So then what do you got for number 5?
This was
finally breaking the top 5.
Okay, this is these 5 I go back to still today. I own 3 out of the 5 now as of today on the vinyls. And once I get the other 2 out of the top 5, then I'm done for besides the EP, their first EP, or I think it was their first EP, the Boys and the Dog EP.
Yeah,
but
first.
Number 5 and number 4 were hard for me. I switched them numerous times. And even tonight when we first started, before we even started this, I switched them one last time, so I think I have it now.
Okay.
But they're completely interchangeable for me. But I think I'm going to do 11 short stories as number 5.
Oh my god.
11 short stories.
I don't know how that is so high. I don't get it.
There's good stuff on here, and you have to you got to understand that the Dropkick Murphys, they're a band that progressed. They're a band that they didn't abandon their punk sound. They just didn't want to do it anymore. And they embraced like a different sound, and that's fine. That's the path that they chose. And 11 short stories, I think, is the best thing that they did while choosing that path. I think that it's solid proof that they can again abandon their roots, but still crank out some powerful and impactful tunes. They don't need to be punk to kick ass. And 11 short stories wasn't as ballady as your previous couple albums. There's almost no punk to this whatsoever, but they don't need to be punk. They don't have to do punk every single time. And I think I may be a little bit biased because my favorite song, obviously, is You'll Never Walk Alone. And I think it is a fucking killer rendition. It is a killer cover. And I just think like a dream is if like Liverpool somehow did like some friendly match out here in Boston. And then we went out there, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, surprise guest for the opening anthem," and they just played that version of "You'll Never Walk Alone." Like I'd fucking die, dude. I would die. I'd be donezo. I'd be done.
Stupid.
I'd be done. I'd be done. I'd be done.
I mean, the chances of that scenario ever happening are just so
0.
They're just
damn
zero.
near
They're
0.
just not gonna happen.
Oh, I love it.
Though.
I love it. And like that song itself, it means something different to different people. And the way Ken Casey kind of explained it, it meant something different to him. And if there's one strange underlying theme of the Dropkick Murphys, these are like hardened punk dudes that grew up in a hardened Boston East Coast punk scene. But they are very emotional and they're not afraid to say it. And maybe that's something unique to the Dropkick, I don't know, or maybe that's just an East Coast thing in general, like a pride thing. But they are very emotional, and they're not afraid to like cry. They're not afraid to express their emotions verbally, physically, and I think, dude, from Do or Die all the way into 11 short stories, I think damn, what a ride! What a ride! I really like 11 short stories. I think it's so good.
Hey man, somebody has to like it, I guess.
Oh,
right?
It's so fucking good. It's such a banger of an album.
I don't get it now. I don't know what I saw in it originally. But I'm glad you enjoy it. I mean, that's all that matters, that you enjoy it.
That is true. That's all that matters on this earth, is if I enjoy something or not.
Well, that's all that matters to you. But yeah. Okay, so that was your number 5, 11 Short Stories. My number 5 is The Meanest of Times, their 6th record. Overall, this album was more punk. It was more exciting. It was less, let's put our arms around each other and drink in a bar, which is fun. It's fun for a time, but it's just like you can only do so many of those songs where it can stay exciting. And this record kind of, there was more punk and it was just more interesting to me. I had a better time listening to it. I didn't think like, oh my God, dude, I got a 5-minute pirate shanty on my hands, But yeah. So my favorite song is Shattered. It's just an aggressive song. They both sing on this one. It's a good punk song. I really enjoy it. So yeah, The Meanest of Times. That's my number 5. I don't know. It's just I want to say more about these records, like I said, but I don't know what to say. There's not much more to say about these.
I mean, I wanted at least 2 out of your top 4. Or, I mean, I'm not surprised by 3 out of your top. Or whatever. We'll get into it. We'll get.
So what do you got for your number 4 then?
My number 4 is Gangs All Here. I'm not surprised this is in your top 4. I knew you would enjoy this one's copy of Do or Die. That's fine because it's punk. It's punk of the era, and you're boring and you're predictable. You're like the sunrise and the sunset. I can call them as a season every single day, same time. But yeah, Gangs All Here. That's my number 4. Like I said, I'm not surprised this is in your top 4. Tyler, come on.
Well, maybe it's in my top 1. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. The reason why this is so high is because of its nostalgia. The reason it's so low is because it's a do or die. It's kind of a do or die copy. These guys lost their singer mid-tour. They essentially made another do or die without Mike. Ken Casey stepped up and he wrote most of this album as opposed to just being like a supportive writing role that he had in Do or Die. The songs can be great here. Some of their best songs are on this album. Outside of Do or Die, some of their best songs are on this album, but this is like a reset for the band. They did Do or Die again over, but they realized that Al Barr couldn't carry the torch the way Mike could, and that's why come Sing Loud, Sing Proud, there's a completely different direction. And so Gangs All Here and Do or Die are very, very, very similar albums, and luckily for the band, commercially, they realized that Al Barr is not Mike, and they shouldn't do the same thing they did with Do or Die, and they went a different route. But Gangs All Here is essentially just another Do or Die, just with a different singer. But there's a lot of bangers in this one. Like Amazing Grace, fucking fantastic. Fighting 69th, another iconic anthemic Dropkick song. But Curse of a Fallen Soul, that might be like a top 5 for me. It's good, man. This is one of those camp songs too, so that's
oh my God,
which I'll get into with the drop kicks, and man, Gangs All Here. Gangs All Here is just it's like Do or Die's like little ugly little brother that nobody ever talked about, and it never gets talked about. It never gets brought up. Occasionally they'll throw some songs out from here. Usually they'll interpolate like Amazing Grace or things like that. But Gangs All Here is for sure like their lowest on the totem pole of the Dropkick albums.
Okay. All
It's
right.
good. It's solid.
It is a good record. It is a very good record. Okay. So that was your number 4.
Number 4. Dude, you better have fucking blackout as your number 4. I'm gonna pretend the internet's cut out and hang up here.
So my number 4 is The Gangs All Here. Second record. This is I agree with you almost on I agree with you actually on everything on this one. It's a song, it's an album for a band that seemed disjointed and like just confused. Like they didn't know what direction to go into. So they fell back on the Do or Die era. And it was good. Like it sounds really good, but you could tell that just there's a lot of inexperience on here. There was like you said it best, like there was nobody there to hold the torch to bring the guys through and to create these songs like the way Mike did on Do or Die. I mean, Albar is great. He is really good, and I don't have anything bad to say about him. But he just doesn't have that same commanding voice, that same commanding presence that Mike does. And so when you try to make a record like that, and it just doesn't work, it just falls a little bit flat, but it's still really good. Like I don't know. This record didn't need to be made. They should have like waited a little bit longer, kind of, you know, maybe threw out like an EP just to like see how it goes, and then write a full length record. But regardless, it was still a solid record. I mean, there's nothing on this record I think that really sticks out. Maybe Pipe Bomb on Lansdowne, but all the songs are just kind of like, they're what you would expect from this band at this era of trying to do another Do or Die. So I don't really have a favorite on this record, which is really weird for a record being so high on my list. This one doesn't have a banger for me on it.
Okay.
But it's still a fantastic record. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but
it is great, but I don't like it. Okay.
I will say though, it is this record is a little bit more pirate shanty and barroom chanting, but it wasn't annoying like it was later on in their career on later records.
It's the last one that Lars produced too.
Oh, did he do the second one too?
Yeah. After this, it was Ken Casey for a while, and then other people.
Ken Casey.
Get out of here with your you fucking Ken Casey out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
All you do is
that's my Boston. That's my Boston accent. No, I don't. I never talk shit on Ken Casey.
Oh yes, you do.
I never talk shit on Ken Casey.
Oh, get out!
I
of
do
here.
not.
Yes, you do. I've heard you many times.
I maybe say he's a horrible singer and he's ugly, but no, I would never talk shit. I think he does phenomenal work for the community, for the music industry. I think he's a banger of a dude.
I honestly don't know who you're trying to impress right now.
I'm trying. Obviously, it's Ken Casey. Like, hello, duh.
Yeah, when he actually listens to the pod.
I did. He just texted me. He said, "Are you guys still doing the pod?" I said, "Yes."
Oh shit! Did he really? Okay.
I said, "Yes." And XOXO. I love you.
Fucking idiot.
How the fuck is fucking Blackout in your top 3? You're such a fucking wiener.
All right, what do you got? What's your number 3 then?
The Warrior's Code. Dude.
Ah, yes, that is.
God. The fucking pirate shanties, dude.
And of course, you love Captain Kelly's Kitchen.
This is, of course I do. This album is a more accessible sing loud, sing proud. With the misstep of Blackout, they went back to the sing loud, but on here, there's even more emphasis on super strong harms, to the point that if it wasn't for distorted guitars, this may just be a pop album. For instance, Captain Kelly's Kitchen, Sunshine Highway is the poppiest thing they've ever done. Take another ride on the Sunshine Highway. That is,
it's a good
song. But it's good. But it's good. It's like you put your arm side to side, like you crick your elbow at a 90-degree angle and put it in front of you and swing it side to side. Yeah. In a what do you call it? Sarcastic way. That's like this album, but there's still some serious bangers on here. Shipping Up to Boston, like, okay, it's popular, I get it. It's not your favorite because it's popular and everybody knows it. But Shipping Up to Boston is it's fucking good, and it's not even like their kind of song. They took a lot of it from a Woody Guthrie song and redid it, reimagined it, revitalized that city. And there's so much to the Dropkick that is just not music. It's also just like energy that they brought in it. I think, man, Shipping Up to Boston, it's hard to not pick that as like the biggest banger from this album because it's so fucking good.
It is. No, it's a really amazing song. And like you said before, there's so many movies, TV shows that have used this song. I mean, Sopranos is one of them. The Jackass movie used the song as like the opener for one of the movies. It's pretty wild how big this song was and how many times it's just been played in multiple things. So this album is almost like a pop album at times though, because then you have like that song Wicked Sensitive Crew.
where they talk
I don't
about
remember that
like
song.
pop punk tough guys, neck tattoos, and they're just making fun of like the scene, but they're all part of the scene. And it's funny. It's very tongue in cheek, and it's an awful song, but it's done in a very drunk way. And I think that's what the Dropkicks do best is present things that would be dumb for everybody else, but because they take themselves with such little seriousness, I think a lot of the stuff they do works really well.
You think I feel like they're a band that takes themselves too seriously.
I feel as a business
times.
standpoint, as a brand, I think they take it seriously because they want to make money. But no, if I mean you any interview you have with Ken Casey, the dude is out there. Like during when the Boston bombing and the marathon happened, like he was out there helping people, delivering water, doing things that normies do, but superstars would never do. And he's just like, no, this is just what I do for the city that I love. So no, I think as people, they don't take themselves seriously whatsoever. But I think as a brand, absolutely they take themselves seriously because they want to make money.
Yeah, it's true. Got to make a living, right?
Sunshine Highway is really your favorite from that fucking album?
No.
I thought that's what you said Sunshine Highway was.
From the Warriors Code? No.
Yes, you did.
It was Captain Kelly's. It was Captain Kelly's.
Oh, that's right. Captain Kelly's Kitchen.
Yeah, you fucking cuck. Don't get the
That's
fuck
right,
out of
that's
here
right.
with that shit. Fuck out of here.
That's right.
Guy.
That's right.
All right. So my number 3 is a Blackout. Finally, their 4th record. There's just something about this. I don't know if it's just because of the Dirty Glass, which I think is their best song that they've ever done.
I know why you like this the most.
Why? Tell me why.
Because there's very little of the Celtic influence in this. This is like the only one they've ever done. Actually, this is their only album where there's very little to no of that Celtic folk influence, and this is all like rock and roll, punk rock driven.
It's fun. It's a really fun record.
It's fucking
It shows
boring.
you can have a band that can have a great time without doing pirate shanties. Even though the Dirty Glass is a little pirate shanty, but I don't know. Just the back and forth of that song is I love it. And the only part of that song that I think is really kind of cheesy to almost bad is the Ken Casey part when he comes in, his vocals come in. There's just no reason for it at all. But whatever. Great song, great record. I don't know why you hate it so much, but that's fine too. So
It's just not good.
I don't understand why
bad.
you say it's not good.
It's so fucking boring.
Dude, you're so dumb.
It's
I'll never get it on vinyl, but
it's for sure it's 100% their most boring album because it's generic punk rock. It is generic punk rock.
it's not generic punk rock.
It is
It's good
100% generic
It's
punk
good
rock.
punk rock. It's good punk rock.
Boring.
No.
Boring.
So then what do you got for your number 2?
Number 2, which I hope our number 2 and our number 1 would go hand in hand, but Sing Loud, Sing Proud, man. Sing Loud, Sing Proud, their 3rd album. I think this is their debut album. I think this is their first album because Do or Die, you can kind of throw that away because Mike left and the band was like, who do fucking do? And then Gangs All Here was them trying to recapture that and realize that it sucked. But this is like their first album. Ken Casey's full hands on deck here. He's more writing. He's producing this album. And they're getting away from the serious punk stuff. Mm-hmm. They, besides Do or Die and Gangs All Here, they will never, ever do a serious punk album ever again. That is completely gone. So this is it. This is the beginning of the Dropkick Murphys. There's glimpses of fun here, and it works. And there's so many bangers on this album. It's unbelievable that this is their second best, and that is only because Do or Die is obviously their best. But if Do or Die didn't exist, this would be their best album. But damn, dude, like the Spicy McHaggis jig, that's been my favorite from this for a very long time. Love that song. It's super fun. It's bouncy. It's a real crowd pleaser when they play it live. And it's so stupid. The lyrics are so gross and terrible. And I don't know what it was. I don't want to say that Mike, because Mike's a very serious dude, it seems like, in interviews that I've seen. He's kind of like the Henry Rollins of this band. Very serious guy. So I don't think they ever would have done anything past Do or Die. I don't think the band would have been successful had Mike stayed in the band. I think they would have just done more of Do or Die until they just broke up eventually anyway. But this band is at their best when they're playing punk songs but being as goofy as they possibly can with subject matter that is so fucking outdated and not okay today. Like the Spicy May Haggis jig. I think it's so funny.
I don't even.
It's about a guy that just goes out looking for like fat chicks, and it's like one of I think it's the last song on the album.
It is the last song. Yeah, it's the last song.
I'm
trying to remember how it goes.
Spicy was a bird, beautiful guy.
All right. Okay.
Always looking for chicks over 400 pounds.
Why don't I remember that song? Probably because it's the last song on the record.
Oh, it's banger of a closer.
But also, this record too was one that I maybe this is the second or third time I've ever heard it in its entirety. Damn. But I really, really, really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. So, I mean, we'll talk more about like our origin stories, but on the main episode. But yeah, this is also my number. I'll just say this right now. This is my number 2 record as well. Sing Loud, Sing Proud. This is much like what you said. This is their third record. I'm sorry. This is their third record. And like what you said too, this is what modern Dropkick Murphys is. This is the start of it all. This is where I feel they perfected the punk, the pirate shanty, the barroom chanting. This is the epitome of that. Like Do or Die was amazing on its own, but this record just this was the beginning. This was it. This is the magnum opus of the Albar era.
Yes.
And the one song, I mean, I got to do this one because it just gets you moving. It's The Legend of Finn McCumhale, or however you say his name. Because, dude, this song is just like every time when I heard it, I thought, dude, I just imagine being in a circle pit, just running as fast as you can, just hitting people and just having a fucking blast for like 2.5 minutes. Like that's what this song is. And that's kind of what this record is too. Like this is just a really cool party album. Really, really cool drinking party album right here. That's what Sing Loud, Sing Proud is. Because it doesn't take it, like you said, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It has its moments, but it's not nearly as serious as Do or Die. It's a great record. Great song too. But I don't think I'd get it on vinyl.
What?
Just saying. Yeah.
Damn, you crazy. I have this on vinyls.
Saying. I figured you would.
Do.
You have like all their vinyl on records, especially Blackout. I know, wasn't Blackout the first one you ever got?
No.
Jeff, come on.
It's funny because I go back to Blackout like once a year just to see if there's something there that I missed. And since like its inception, I've never liked it. Never liked it.
I don't understand that at all. That's so weird to me.
Boring. That's right.
So, I mean, obviously then our number 1 is Do or Die, their debut record. So we'll get into that on the main episode. Thank you all for listening to the pod. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. And that's it. That's all.
David Jeffy.